say we nailed it. Hey guys, welcome to Toasted. Name's Gabe Johnson. Today we are doing smoked ribs. One of my personal favorites and something I started out doing. I got these ribs at Kroger's. You can get them wherever. You can get them at Walmart or any local market, wherever you get your ribs. So let's get started. Alright, so opening up these, we're doing 2 racks today. I got my rub there. I also got yellow mustard, and I'll explain why I use yellow mustard later on in the video once we get started. So open these bad boys up. Always important to try and keep the blood off the countertops. Always important to wash your hands, keep your hands clean. I always try and wear gloves sometimes, but today I got clean hands. So the first thing I start off doing is, it's very important and almost a 100% tender rib, almost guarantee, as long as you cook it right, is we're going to take this magical little silver skin off. Sometimes you have to make a little notch to kind of get it started, but it's this little shiny, well, sometimes it's tough to get started, but once it gets started, it almost sounds like you're ripping paper. And it comes off. Sometimes it comes off great. Sometimes it doesn't. So you can kind of see the difference. See the silver skin's still on this one, and then the silver skin's off this one, and you can see the ribs a little bit more. See the meat on the bones. So we're gonna go ahead and take this one off now. All right, so we got the silver skin off. So another quick tip, now that my hands are clean again. Wet hand, dry hand, or wet hand, dry hand. That way you're not getting seasoning or whatever all over your stuff and all over your cutting board and getting it everywhere on yourself and everywhere but on the ribs. So I like to use regular, plain old yellow mustard. This is something I learned kind of doing research on. It's a preference, but it keeps the strong mustard taste that mustard powder gives. So I like using plain old yellow mustard. So we're going to start a little bit on the other side. You don't have to put a whole lot underneath because that's not what you're eating. You're not eating the bone, but it helps give the flavor throughout the ribs. So I'm just going to kind of rub that in there, kind of all on the sides a little bit too. If everything stick nicely. This one. Okay. And we're going to flip these bad puppies over. Do the same thing on the top. And the other nice thing about mustard is it has vinegar in it, so it also helps tenderize as well, which is also a nice factor when you're starting out smoking, when you're learning how to smoke, whenever you're doing research on it, that sort of thing. So now we got our mustard on, and again, wet hand, dry hand. So now we got our seasoning, which is salt, pepper, paprika, garlic, chili powder, onion powder, and some brown sugar. Now for a while I was actually against using brown sugar. I was trying to go the savory route, but I realized that I was wrong, and so a little bit of brown sugar helps a lot. Plus it gives it that nice color. And especially when you start out, brown sugar is nice and it makes it look like beautiful meat candy. So somewhat heavy on the top. Again, because that's what you're eating, so that's where you want all of your flavor. Now my rub is the same that I've used for everything, whether I'm doing brisket, whether I'm doing pork shoulder, or ribs, or even chicken wings. This is the same process I use for everything. The only difference is when it comes to ribs, I put brown sugar in it. All right, so we flip these guys over, and now we're gonna kind of go a little less on the bottom. Again, you're not necessarily eating the bottom, but it helps keep the flavor consistent. Plus, you don't want the bottom to burn, because then everything tastes bad. All right, we have ribs. I'm gonna wash my hands, clean up my mess a little bit, and then we're gonna go check on our smoker. All right, we got our smoker going. It's all heated up. We got our ribs. So I like to use cherry wood. Today we're actually gonna use hickory wood because I'm on vacation and they didn't have any cherry wood. So I also use hickory wood. I love the smell of hickory wood and cherry wood. I like cherry wood more because it has that longer burn, and cherry wood's a harder wood, and so it burns hotter, but it burns longer, and so you don't use it up as much. I just got this. I love this thing to death. Always important to make sure that your smoker's cleaned out and ready to go, because you don't want your leftover brisket in there, otherwise it smells bad, makes your ribs smell bad. Nobody wants that. So I like to keep my smoker at about 225, 230. It's a nice low and slow temperature. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. So let's open this bad boy up. Also, another important thing, you always want liquid in your pan. One, it keeps the heating element from burning out, and two, it keeps everything nice and moist. So we're gonna put these bad boys on here. Place those guys right here. Look at those beautiful things. There's them right there. Push the hot rack back in. Close it up. See you in 7 hours. Hey, so just want to do a quick checkup, see where we're at. I usually like to do a checkup every couple hours. You want to make sure that your pan's nice and watered, and that way the heating element doesn't overheat the smoker, and it just keeps everything moist. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Yeah, we are looking mighty fine. See how it's already starting to pull away from the bones. Oh yeah, we've got a nice good crust. Fabulous. Alright guys, so it's been about 7 hours, and let's see what we got. Oh yeah. So normally for a rack you want to do about 3 to 4 hours. But I got 2 today, but we are looking juicy. Let's hope I can get these off. Almost split there in the middle. Which is never a bad thing. Getting them out. So I went ahead and already turned off my smoker to let it cool. Clean that once it's cooled down. Let's go inside, see what we got. Got that nice bark on there. Like I said, trying to pull them out of the smoker, they almost fell apart on me. So I think we're a-okay on that end. But you can see it's pulled away from the bones nicely, which means that the meat's rendered nicely. It's got that nice bark on it from the brown sugar. It's almost like bacon candy. So you can use any barbecue sauce. I like Sweet Baby Ray's. This is what I picked up from Kroger's. So this is what we're gonna use today. Normally I use a pastry brush because it spreads nicely, but I'm just gonna put a nice dollop in the middle there, and then I'm gonna use a knife. Probably put a little bit more on, but just kind of. And if you want, you're more than welcome to put it back in the smoker for a half hour, but these are hot enough that it will not matter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Pork ribs, smoked for 7 hours. See how bad these are. See if they're any good. beautiful. Clean off that bone. I'd say we nailed it. Yeah, I'd say we did pretty good. Thanks for watching. Join me next time on future videos. And I'm gonna get back to eating these ribs.